Hello and welcome back to the Druidic Stormcloud channel, where today I'll be playing some more Final Fantasy XIV. A fun game indeed, but bear with me just a moment. I need to fill up my dog's treat toy. Is a puzzle toy that has treats in it, and it'll keep him a bit distracted and happy and keep his brain active while I stream. There we go. Had it on the wrong setting at first. Now then, without further ado, let's jump right into the game. An epic scene right here. And we're about to confront someone who is fused with an alien. We don't have access to our minions here. Yep, we don't. Don't worry about that at a different time. For now, Royal Menagerie. We have a full party to find. So in the meantime, go ahead and head out of here. That way we can randomize our minion. Start off by the AC turning on. Oh, here we go, here we go. We are almost an hour in. Come on. Queue up. Last tank, come on. Yes. Yes! Okay, we're getting it done. Oh boy. Let's make this work. Let's make that wait worth it. These are our teammates. trying to tell me over somewhere. I guess these blue spots might be some safe zones. Attention to where everyone is. Okay. not doing good. beat it? We beat it? Gotta be honest, at that point I was not paying attention to the boss's health. I was paying attention to the party. That was a tough boss fight. You. Okay, no. Alright, oh boy. That was a fight. That was a fight.
Are you all right? Xenos.
The hunter has indeed become the hunted. And yet, there is only joy. Transcendent joy that I have never known. How invigorating, how pure this feeling.
Is that what this was all about? All the meaningless death and destruction, so you could feel something?
Meaningless. Men die that others may live. Those who survive are stronger for it. Not that you could ever understand. To have stood upon this great stage of fools. To have played my part to perfection. Oh, this moment. Let it be enshrined in eternity. My heart beating out of time. So clear, so vivid, so real. So real. Coward!
Stop!
Farewell, my first friend. My enemy.
Where is he?
He's dead. By his own hand.
Then justice has been done.
No. There's no justice in that rabid animal's end.
Liberty or death. That so many should be forced to take up this creed to defeat such madness.
We won. Forget him. The living have need of us now.
Stand tall, Lys. Now is the time to raise a cheer for all who fought for freedom. A cheer loud enough to carry to the highest heavens.
You're right. Thank you. Without you... well, you know. So let's do it together. For Ala Mhigo!
Shinryu and Zenos are defeated altogether, which leaves Omega's situation. That's probably going to be the first chapter for this. Now, is Whis going to remain in Ala Mhigo as her leader?
In Crimson it began, and in Crimson it ended. And then we were free. But what is freedom, really?
We told her so.
We may be free to live, to love, to grow old, to have dreams and desires, and to strive for them. But in the end, we're defined by the legacy our forefathers bequeathed to us. Even Zenos was once a baby in the cradle, innocent and pure. He was made into a creature that lived only for death, not born one. "20 years of Imperial rule have left Ala Mhigo torn and bleeding. It won't be easy to heal a generation's worth of wounds, to bridge the gap. But I won't give up, Papalymo. I won't.
So she is going to stay behind. And my dog wants my attention. You can tell I was frustrated.
Because I remember the price of freedom. I remember the smoke, and the ashes, and the blood. I remember the screams, and the silence. And I'll do whatever it takes to honor their sacrifice, to build a home for us all. I promise you. This is the end. The end of the Imperial Province of Ala Mhigo, and the rebirth of Ala Mhigo, the free nation. Long may she endure.
I'm gonna make this a longer stream, that way I can try to have more content when I edit this down, remove the waiting period and all that. But this really was it? This was the end of Stormblood? I'm going to mute where the credits roll, and I'm going to let my dog outside, use a quick bio break, and grab up something to eat. I'll be right back.
This home rested forth from tired fingers, bathed in blood and sealed in stone, soul scarred, 12-fold. Beckoned by the bells of vengeance, spirits bold, a lover lost, a family torn, a solemn pyre raised to rouse the slumbering heaven. Fire in your eyes, fire in your hearts, steeled as you sound the horns of the war. You know the cost. For who shall mourn when light is quenched, that another might burn brighter? Let not the rays of justice blind, ere trust in grace and she shall guide.
I'm back. I'm also going to be letting my friends know that I just beat the Stormblood storyline for FF14.
Lives, two swords, give an end to shattered whispers, wicked words. Return me to louder
Yep.
a rival's cry, or the oaths that spur her onward. Your time is come, a choice bestowed. Tonight for unsigned sentence. This night you need not walk alone.
Another storyline completed in Final Fantasy XIV. So, who's gonna lead the Scions and become the leader of Colony K? I think so. I think that is the situation going forward. Memories of Lisa's Ida alongside Poplamio. This is everyone that worked on the game for this portion of it, and they did a wonderful job. Once again, an excellent storyline, good build-up. They took us to 2 different locations this time. That was insane. Alamigo and Doma are now explorable. The map is getting bigger and bigger every moment. And my food is ready. I'm not even gonna eat this time. He doesn't hear me. But I continue to talk about that. Grab my food. Grab a silverware. Probably have to cut the credit portion out as well when I'm editing it down. but I'm gonna leave it for Twitch. Gonna mute while I eat food real quick. Just a little bit of it anyway. If I finish my food and the credits are not done rolling, I don't know. Also, I'm gonna retitle this as Beyond the Storm of Blood because that makes a lot more sense for the conclusion of Stormblood. Xenos was an excellent antagonist. And all Final Fantasy XIV players, there we were! And the game includes you in the credits. there's Estinian.
Well, well, well. What a fine mess we've made. All but spent feeding that primal, eh? Well, you won't be making any mischief with that amount of ether. Still, better safe than sorry.
So that's what he's been up to.
There. There ends your hateful legacy.
Oh no. Please tell me this isn't Omega. It's over. My condolences for your loss. A father should not outlive his son. What nonsense. Do not mourn his loss. Surprise me, your radiance. He was your son and heir, an irreplaceable test subject. And an irreplaceable test subject. No, he was. Monsters are not made for thrones. No more stars to sustain false gods who suck variance in essence. Icons summoned by desperate savages who hearken to the whispers of shadowless charlatans. Should you rise your hand against my black-robed brethren, I will not stop you. Our desires are one and the same. Preservation, restoration, comprehension, resurrection. All is in service to your one true God. And when the sundered shards are made whole, there will be a place for us mere mortals. Will there be a place for us mere mortals? Doubt my claims and question my motives, if you will, your radiance. You will come to trust me in time. Until then, mayhap you will find this reassuring. How dare you? I wonder who it is. Really, I have no idea. We did it! We liberated All Amigo! I don't know what to say. I don't even know how to feel about it all. Relief, I suppose? Pride and hope, too. We did it. Father, Ida, Papa Mio, Conrad, Mick, and Lilia. We really did it. Hey, don't feel like you have to stand there listening to me mumble. Everyone else will want to talk to you. You beat him after all. You're the real hero of this story. So, run along and take your platitudes. When I awoke this morning, I thought Lord King was dead. And then he lived. And now he is here. It has been a wonderful day. Yesterday we were celebrating the liberation of Doma. Now look at us. Now look where we are. 1,000 moms apart, what a nation's gonna be. But in spirit, we are one and the same. You defeated the best Xenos. Even after he had harnessed the power of a primal, is a testament to your growing strength. Not bitter to have had your vengeance stolen from you by another. There is some small regret, perhaps, but not waived by the satisfaction I find in his death. I commend you, Kira. As should we all. Xenos was a monster and a tyrant. The man who killed my father and countless others of my countrymen. The world is a better place without him in it. I should also praise Master Alphinaud for his foresight and restraint. Had he not intervened, I might never have had the pleasure of being reunited with Hiroko and his sleeping brothers. It was a timely intervention. How glad am I not to have been burdened with the guilt of killing my Lord Hien's most trusted allies? Indeed, my friend, indeed. Oh, you hear me say that. Wesker! You did it! You bloody well did it! I have to send word to Olagahana. No, I have to go and tell them myself. Banquet is here as well. Ophelia? No. Assalim. Wolverton will never be enough. Better than Florian, but, as ever, the relief I felt upon finding you failed toys and the royal menagerie, well, that reduced me to tears. Before you have left, it is this again. I'm surprised that some small part of you did not accept the title and the responsibilities which accompany it. You must forgive us if we call you hero when you accomplish heroic feats. But as the warrior fight goes, so goes the world. You should take pride in the good you have done, and in the good you have inspired others to do. You are not a born leader of men, Kiara, and these leaders weren't just following their commanders, but they were following you. Oh, that was thank you. Lived into victory, to freedom. Alas, not everyone comes to the journey to its end, but history shall remember them, and the glorious future they made possible. Can you believe it? We've won! We beat the bastards! Alamigo! Alamigo! Sorry, got a bit carried away there, didn't I? It's hard not to, you know. owe it to the friends we buried. We owe it to the friends we buried to shout and scream, to cheer with all our hearts. I want them to know it wasn't for nothing. It's finally over, and they can rest in peace. You hear that, lads? We're healing. Not again. Simply happy with the cry. Yes. Learn the lesson, comrades. When informed of our victory, thou mayst be assured that there was much rejoicing. That's good to know. I trained with countless weapons, none compared to Persona. That father saw fit to honor me in this way still fills my heart with pride. The hero of the hour. I suppose we'll have to add Liberator to your titles. With their commander fallen, the remainder of the 12th chose to surrender to our forces. After 20 long years, it's official. The occupation is ended. But now the hard work starts. Though the people have had their fill of kings, there's no clear consensus on what sort of government they would prefer instead. Indeed, Father. Momentous as this achievement might be, maybe, the road which lies before us is no less uncertain than the one we have walked. Aye, aye. Yet, if we can overcome 2 decades of oppression, I have no doubt we can find a way forward. Thank you, Kira, for helping to make this dream a reality. One moment. Sorry about that. She's gonna leave this line up. Why do I have the hiccups now? I don't even know where to begin.
We've been through a lot together, haven't we? I can't thank you enough. There's something I need to say to you all. That is, if you have a moment.
She's staying behind. I know it.
Good. You're all here. Good. Good.
I didn't look into the lore or storyline or anything, if I'm right. It's just... This feels like a parting situation, as someone who has played many an RPG.
Thank you doesn't really suffice, does it? I'm grateful. Truly grateful from the bottom of my heart. But I know you didn't fight so hard just to hear me or anyone else say that. You fought because you wanted to help, because you believed it was right. Because you're Scions. Now I'm obviously a scion, but as Conrad left me in charge of things here, I also have responsibilities to Ala Mhigo. When I put it like that, though, I realized I couldn't even pretend to be impartial anymore. So it seemed best to make it official. As long as I serve Ala Mhigo, I can't be a scion. It might be selfish and short-sighted, but that's my decision.
Am I to understand that you summoned us all, some of us still nursing wounds, to hear this?
I didn't,
Forgive me, Lise. 'Twas but a jest. But this I say with the utmost sincerity. Scion or no, we are comrades, now and ever after. Is that not so? There you have it. Come what may, you may count on us in your hour of need. We shall never refuse you.
Stola. Oh, gods. I swore I wouldn't cry.
Come back here, you slippery little devil. To think fishing could be so difficult.
Gossitz is alive!
What greater proof of a man's lingering mortality than an empty belly? A fate worse than death. Violet. To have arrived at the appointed place and time only to survive by mere force of habit. Truly, the Kami are not finished with us yet. Oh, capricious fortune. How you test me with this wretched soul.
So did she? Oh boy. As for the creators of Omegas, apparently been found. I'll say it. This is indeed a work of either Shinryu or Omega. And since there's undeniably something down there, radiating a massive amount of energy, which cannot very well be the late Viceroy Slapdragon, yes, I think we have our suspect. Well, this is a mess of our own making, so it falls to us to clean it up. It won't be easy, but it's endeavor. And now comes the part where you say you've got no choice but to divert company resources and employees to this pet project of yours. Lost profits and belligerent clients be damned. Financial considerations notwithstanding, you've have to admit there is unquestionable benefit in giving our people the opportunity to study such advanced technology. Stuttle. What is Stuttle? Oh, is that before or after you blow up or seal it away? Fine, fine. But the moment I judge this little venture an unsustainable risk to the Ironworks, I'm ending it. Savvy? And to keep you honest, using my authority as deputy president, I've gone ahead and brought in a consultant, a master engineer and mechanical genius. You didn't. Come now, I mustn't build their expectations too high. It'll be less dramatic when I surpass them. Oh no, absolutely not. This is not happening. Nero! Nero Tolskov. Eager to begin his first day as loyal member of the Ironworks team. Looking forward to working with you, Garland. Not ominous at all! So the hunter, or so fell the hunter, but what of the hound? So rose the children, but what of the feathers? The fathers. Alright, we have additional scenarios because of post-chapter. Marienfeld's adventure is trouble.
Come to see how we're getting on? We've made good progress since we took back Alamigo, but there's one big issue we still have to address. Leadership. The Domans had Lord Hien ready and willing to take the throne, but we've got no one like that here. Theodoric was our last ruler, and he wasn't called the Mad King for nothing.
Suffice it to say, our people have had their fill of kings, which means we need to find a new way forward.
If only it were that easy. Everyone and his uncle has an opinion. For the time being, we're just going to have to keep leaning on General Aldin and the Alliance for support, and see if we can't find a solution together. Something tells me we're going to be hosting a lot of meetings in the near future. But if that's what it takes, I'm ready to talk till my jaw aches. The Reach is yours, Nago. Don't do anything I wouldn't.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Ah, there you are. I've been searching all over for you. Don't worry, it's nothing bad. That said, this might not be the best place to talk. Will you join me? I'll get to the point. Might you be interested in a spot of adventure? After all, we were adventurous before we were scions, were we not? After routing the Imperials and liberating Alamigo, I reckon we've earned a bit of respite, don't you? And what better way to spend it than by returning to our roots? So, What say you? Shall we call on Alphinaud and go adventuring?
That's what we do, I suppose. How the animation for swimming changes if you're swimming or not. That's not always the case in games. Good. Hunt for Omega. One of those has got to lead to Kefka. Some manner of escapade. Have you any idea what we've gotten ourselves into? Allow me to explain. It may be something of a history lesson, but I'll try to be no snoring, if you please. Now, events I would speak of occurred before the occupation, back when Alamigo was still a monarchy and Eordic sat on the throne. Brutal despot by all accounts. That he was. The king of ruin suffered no rivals, real or imagined, and his dispute among some of his ended with Valdez's being burned to the ground. In the latter years of his rule, he was seized by the unshakable belief that unseen forces were conspiring to steal his crown, and so he ordered that every soul that claimed to the throne be executed, including his own family. The wealth of the poor sods he put to death became the property of the king, and it said that these royal treasures were hoarded somewhere in the palace. Thus was born the legend of the Mad King's Trove. I believe I see the direction our adventure is to take. I assume you have some mind to unearth his hidden bounty? You assume correctly. And would I also be correct in assuming that this legend is widely known? Others must surely have gone in search of your prize, tempting as it seems. Well, of course we wouldn't be the first to make the attempt. Following Alamigo's liberation, more than a few of your soldiers turned the palace upside down in hopes of claiming an easy fortune. But even after scouring every room from dawn till dusk, they uncovered not a single coin. The gold bus straight away as quickly as it come, and the legend of Mad King's Trove remains simply that, a legend. have no intention of letting the story end there. What self-respecting adventurer would? I imagine the three of us delving into a decades-old... mystery. Tell me the thought doesn't sit or set your heart to racing. Box. Defending, slaying, aiming, healing. We'll go with healing ones. Fantastic. The news of Doma and Olamiga's liberation was rekindled the flames of revolution in every corner of the Empire. I fear the Imperial province of Dalmasca is already risen in rebellion. Dalmasca? Which reminds me, the Guardians must surely have their hands full. What better time than now to indulge in such a diversion? But tell us, Arbel, have we any clues as to where we might begin our search? Well, judging by how the other treasure hunters fared, nothing about the palace isn't likely to get us in there. So, we'll probably need to ask around. That's another way of saying no. Well, yes. I see. In that case, I should visit to the Allied Archivists, and request access to the records seems from the Imperials. Guardians are meticulous about such things. They uncovered the trove during their occupation of the event is certain to be reported to happen again. In the meantime, two people tracked down those who would as palace servants and officials in Florida State, given that they would have been at least 2 at the time. People have seen 40 summers or more. Anything they can tell you about the king and his bloody deeds may prove useful. So we should listen well. Arbel, and try to work in the fringes and the peaks, whilst Yara makes rounds in the Alamiga portrait. Ha! And there I was singing I was the party leader. Not that I mind, of course. Let's be about it, eh? We can meet afterwards at Gerald's meet. Then we need to repair some stuff. Let's do that quick. Alright, now we'll take chocobos and get into the capital. The reporter, Harry, Oliver Hahn. I like the Harry. of Keep. Honestly, I did not expect that to immediately. But to be fair, it was the same with Heavensward. Oh well. The Mercantile District. Quest. While even watching his enemies die wasn't enough to coax him out of hiding. They say he started seeing assassins in every shadow and wouldn't set foot outside the palace walls. I was offered work there as a royal servant once, but the mere thought of it left me in a cold sweat. I served at the pleasure of King Theodoric, and lived to tell the tale. One of the palace's guards I was. Truth be told, it was a dark chapter of my life, and one I'd sooner forget. Hardly a night went by when we didn't hear the blood-curdling screams echoing from the inner chambers, which, of course, we were under orders to ignore. So, we'd stand still as statues, trying not to imagine what horrors were unfolding within. Hell's bent on finding out what happened in the palace. Head down the street here and ask Ermold, who is the king's head scribe. Double check to make sure I attune to it as well. We're able to go around on a mountain. I imagine if we don't want to play it, maybe do that. In the palace? No, not me, lass. Surely you've heard the stories of the Mad King? He used to hold public executions up on the divine audience. Anyone, and I mean anyone, suspected of conspiring against the crown was longing from atop those steps. Suffice it to say that I stayed as far away from the palace as possible. A smart man. Yes, I'm Ernold. What do you want with me? Would I be dredge up some decidedly unsavory memories? Yet, if Alamego is to move forward, we must needs acknowledge the misdeeds of the past. Very well, I shall tell you what I remember. I take it you know of Theodic's paranoia and the public executions of his kinsmen. Those were terrible enough. But in his last days, the king's fevered mind settled upon an even grislier method of disposal, which only a chosen few were unfortunate enough to witness. His Majesty ordered the court thaumaturge to unleash a vile curse upon the remaining members of the royal family, a magic which transformed them into fiends of hideous aspect. The resulting monstrosities were then cast into the darkness below the palace. Even now, my sleep is troubled by nightmares. If others of Theodic's blood were prone to share his madness, then mayhap it is a kindness that the monarchy ended with him. So there's something underneath the palace? And fiends down there? At the very least, that's worth delving into. Since we're all here, why don't we share what we've learned? me to begin. Then, as promised, I scoured the Imperial records for any mention of fantastic treasures and found precisely none. It is just possible, I suppose, that a corrupt official deliberately hid the fact of the trove's discovery, hoping to enrich himself, but I found it rather unlikely that so valuable a find would stay secret for long. I conclude that our prize either does not exist or that the Imperials somehow overlooked it. But what of you, Kiara? Were your investigations any more fruitful? So there's something underneath the palace where they sent the cursed blood onions that they turned to monsters. Turned into monsters? And what do you mean by this darkness beneath the palace, I wonder? I met an old man in Al-Kahiri who spoke of the palace's subterranean prison, but he said not of cursed abominations. Archives are also silent on the subject of beings inside the palace grounds. Could this scribe fellow have been spinning her yarn, do you think? Do you believe in Kiara? His fears seemed genuine. If he was afraid, that does leave credence to the tale. Though I'm not sure how that puts us in our search. Don't be so hasty. Arnold's anecdote may very well have told us where the trove is hidden. But, ere I share my theory, there is a matter I would clarify. Arndel, you spoke of light-hearted adventure, but I sense a deeper motive for this expedition. Why are you so intent on finding this treasure? It wasn't all pretense, I swear it. But you're right. My father was in the Imperial Armory, a man of Garlean blood. I trust you know what I mean when I say my Alamegan mother did not welcome my arrival. As I grew, she would check my brow over and over, convinced that a spot on my skin was an emerging third eye, like the kind you see in pure-blood Garleans. My mother did not care for this taunting reminder of my heritage, and took up a knife. War paint serves to cover the scar. In the end, she turned me out into the street, and I was left to hunt the alleyways of Ala Mhigo. A feral child who got what he needed through begging, cunning, or worse. The best I can say about the years that followed is that I survived. But I hated the animal I had become. Eventually, I left the city behind me and joined a group of refugees bound for the other side of the wall. It was then that I turned to adventuring, and that road led me to the Company of the Scions. Into the Company of the Scions. I can tell you this so that you understand. I tell you this so that you understand. I know all too well what poverty and hunger can do to a person. I drew steel on ordinary folks for a measly crust of bread. With Theodic's gold, I could spare my countrymen the shame of living like that. Thank you, Arnfeld, and I apologize. That cannot have been pleasant to recall. And I felt it best to be clear in our intentions. Oh well, Kiara, are you content to surrender the treasure to Arnfeld's noble cause and claim the thrill of adventure as your reward? Not any gear we can find in there. Then I should be glad to tell you my theory on the resting place of the Mad King's trove, if you are minded to hear it. Alright, this, and I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to try and get my dog back in the house. Oh, I need to use the item first. Place an armory chest, armory chest, armory chest. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to step away for just a moment. I'll be right back. It's too hard to get my dog back in the house. And back. Actually, maybe it would be better if we first adjourned to a more suitable location. In case a rival treasure hunter overhears our plans, you mean? Good thinking. That was not exactly the reason, but 'tis certainly a valid concern. Let us reconvene on the southern edge of Loch Sealed. direction. Oh, Chocobo. I did not need to summon my Chocobo. Forgive me. It was not my intention to draw out proceedings. I simply wish to have the look in sight while I explained things while. Prior to the Great Flood of the Sixth Level Calamity, the Salt Lake you see before you get 5 ravines, and this, believe it or not, was the site of the ancient city of Scala, which rose and fell during the Fifth Astral Era. From what we know of the period, the city was already deserted by the time the waters began to rise, having been all but destroyed by war, yet its ruins remain to this day at the bottom of Loch Seld. It is my belief that the darkness beneath the palace, mentioned by Theodic's former scribe, was not in reference to the prison, but is still further below the ruins of Scala. I further surmise that the Mad King's unfortunate kinsmen were cast down there not simply out of a desire to punish them, but to discourage exploration. Theodic wanted to keep the ruins secure. Wait, you're saying they were meant to guard the Mad King's trove? Precisely. And since we know that the current thaumaturge was involved, we can safely assume that the entrance to the city will have been magically concealed, which would explain how a legion of Imperial soldiers and the gods know how many Alamegans never found a trace of the trove. We, however, have certain advantages which they did not enjoy. Kiara, would you be so good as to swim down to the bottom of the loch and search for an underwater route into the ruins? And while you do that, Ariel and I shall seek out and source into the portal within the palace. stuff over here. This looks important. Excellent! We discovered a passage that appears to lead under the palace foundations. Press on and find out where it goes. Come to a worn stone door standing temptingly ajar. It would appear you have found an entrance into the subterranean ruins. Kara, it's Zelphanaut. We've searched the entire prison beneath the palace and found a teleportation portal concealed by enchantments. The marking indicated leads to an underground cavern. What news on your end? Do you believe it leads to the ruins? Then I dare say we will be able to meet within. Go on and head through the door. By the way, I took the liberty of calling a friend for help. Or calling on a friend for help. I guarantee she's both dependable and discreet. We'll see you soon. Yugiri! It's Yugiri, isn't it? Discreet Yugiri. Ninja. It's Random Lancer. That's a little disappointing, I'm going to be honest. Alright. Drowned City of Scala. You're not just a Lancer. Opa? This is another duty support. I find that to be insane. Just keeping regen on the tank is going to be great. He's going to be a new Scion. Next question. He's going to be a new Scion. Members of the main Scions for a while now. Fila, Compamio, Ida at least. We're currently job probably. It is probably from time to time, and when we gather everyone to help with things as one of the world's leaders. Compamio and Julia are gone. They're not coming back. Freya was someone that could have been a main member, but no, she's dead. So the water's bad. Water's gonna fill you up.
With you.
Father and Ollie. and Ollie.
better than our other one. Salvation.
Away with you!
There we go. Amulet of Mending. Good, I would say. Earring of Slain and armor chest.
Leave it to me! Away with you! House of Leveilleur!
Okay.
Away with you!
Okay. That was an interesting mechanic. The old one. Interesting boss indeed.
Try this!
Before that attack went off. Casting these skill items might be an interesting thing to find out what they look like. Condemnation. There's something there. Amulet of healing.
Try this!
Away with you!
Try this! For Arbor and Orly!
Leave it to me! Leave it to me!
Are we at the end of it already? right, it wasn't. It was a person! That's him himself, the Mad King Theoden.
It would appear this place is yet inhabited by King Theodoric's kin, or what is left of them. The work of terrible magics, I fear.
Terrible, aye. But their misfortune is our fortune?
Quite. By the 12, there is even more than I imagined.
Oh, I can't wait to see the look on Lisa's face. Thanks for believing in me, you two.
Ironveld asked me to lend my spear. I didn't imagine it would be for such an adventure. I'm grateful for the chance to be a part of it. Will you be joining us on further adventures, is my question. God, what a dark and treacherous trek that was. Abominations waiting for us at every turn. In other words, it was a proper adventure. I agree. Now, Alphanod. Ironveld and I tried to do our fair share, but I fear you ended up bearing the bulk of the burden as usual. You truly led the way with your adventuring prowess, my friend. Aye, without your help, I reckon we'd still be fumbling about in the dark. I'm glad we called on you. I must say, I'm still reeling at the sight of that mountain of riches. What, like how you reeled at the sight of that floating specter, you mean? I wish you could have seen the look on your own face, Alphanod. Must we dwell on such momentary lapses? We found the Mad King's trove, and that's all that matters. This is going to give us a song. Well, jesting aside, we must tell people the good news. And I think Lee should be first. Seconded. She is bound to be delighted. If I am no longer needed, then I shall take my leave. Of course, don't let us keep you. Thanks again, and say hello to the math for me. Now then, there is a meeting of representatives with Los Alamigo, so please, sure to be in the city. Shall we seek her out? just got done dealing with fiends that have been originally people, and now we're riding a fiend through the streets of Ala Mhigo. With yourselves. What have you been up to? I'm glad you asked, please. And I'm pretty sure you're going to like the answer. You're joking. The Mad King's Trove? I thought it was a myth. So did plenty of people. But they didn't have Kiara and Alphinaud in their party. The credit for finding it should really go to them for what it... As for what to do with it, I vote that it go towards alleviating the suffering of Ala Mhigo's poor. Gods, if there's as much as you say... Rainbow did not exaggerate, I assure you. But we could not hope to carry even a fraction of it out on our own. I take the liberty of sketching out a rough map of the ruins. If you would assemble a squad of your most trusted freedom fighters, they should be able to follow the route to where the treasure lies. Understood. I'll make sure every coin is accounted for and that it goes for the spending, and that goes for the spending of it as well. Thank you. Oh, there's one other thing. When the time comes to draw up a plan for distributing the spoils, I would ask that you consult Alphinaud. I don't have a head for details. I'm not educated. I see that simply handing out sacks of gil won't solve everything, but I couldn't rightly tell you what to do instead. Well, I know the feeling. I'd welcome any advice you can give us, Alphinaud. Of course, I shall be at your disposal. Commander, we've got a problem! Deep breaths, tell me what's happened. A mob's gathered outside headquarters, and they've started making demands. You'd best come see for yourself. That doesn't sound good.
Step back, all of you!
Like hells we will! We know who you've got in there!
We're not leaving till you hand her over!
Bring her out! Bring her out!
What's going on? Someone let slip about Fedora.
It's true then! The bitch really is in there! I knew it! I bloody knew it! We demand vengeance! Bring her out! Today we butcher the butcher!
Butcher the... Come on, you don't mean that! We'd be no better than the Imperials if you'd all just calm down!
Calm down! That monster and her thrice damned skulls dragged my man from our home and beat him to death in the street!
Aye! And my dad! That bitch has spilt enough blood to fill a lock!
We all know her crimes. She's a traitor and a murderer. How many of your resistance friends have died at her hands, eh? And here you are, protecting her!
So that's what all the fuss is about. Hearken to me, brothers and sisters of Ala Mhigo.
Hey, who's this?
That's the Bull of Ala Mhigo.
My friends, you are not alone in your anger, your grief, your despair, for it is mine as well. That gnawing pain in your breast, It is enough to bring an old bull to his knees. But I ask you, brothers and sisters, to think not only of the family and friends who were cut down before your very eyes, but to think also of the ones who were abducted, the ones who may yet live. Where were they taken? What became of them? These questions demand answers. I share your thirst for justice, for vengeance, but we will gain only fleeting satisfaction if we give in to our base appetites. We will never know the truth. Now is the time that we, the people of Ala Mhigo, must decide what manner of nation we will build for ourselves and for generations yet unborn. When they look to our example, will they see a people who held fast to their principles, or one who cast them aside when tried? I say to you, it is our responsibility to give these prisoners a fair trial, that they might answer to all of Ala Mhigo. The Garleans called us savages, and I'll be damned if we prove them right.
I know you're right, I do, but I can't.
Alright. That was a tense situation. My thanks, Ramon. Listening to your anger, I could feel myself being swept away. Tis a difficult tide to stem. It was the same rage which brought us to our feet and carried us to victory. Now the war is over. All the unspent fury is being channeled into vengeance. Aye, it's not just here. The reports of mobs forming all over. They've been targeting folk known to have cooperated with the Garleans. It's such insults most often, but then someone picks up a stone. Some industrious souls even thought to seek out the graves of Xenos and his officers. It was grim. To build a country where everyone, regardless of race or origin, can live side by side in peace. Well, maybe the time isn't right. We just aren't ready. That does not mean I'm not going to try. Representatives will be here soon. I'll be damned if I'm going to give up before I've even begun. Who are these representatives exactly? Village elders, refugee leaders, and what? It wouldn't be right of us for us to dictate the nation's future on our own. So we plan a summit of sorts. We invited the Amati and the Kikwe to participate. Amigo stands at a crossroads, and this meeting will decide which path it takes. The matter of Cordola's sentence cannot be suffered to disrupt proceedings. Let's execute her and be done. We're so fast for death. I'll go. I will explain why I wouldn't do that. Sending to the gallows might satisfy people right now, but where would it end? Should we round up everyone who collaborated and everybody who didn't resist? There would be no one left. And we'd be no better than Theodoric or Xenos. Begging your pardon, but would I be allowed to speak with Rodola? I only caught a glimpse of her past, a moment of it anyway, during the fight. She said terrible things, unforgivable things, but in some ways, she's a victim of the circumstances in which she was born, and that's something I can understand. Alright, speak with the prison guard when you're ready, and I'll come join you. I want to talk to her too. I'll return to my other duties now. We've barely begun to investigate the facility where they gave Portola the powers. Be fairly warned, friends. She will test you. Don't let your emotions control your judgment when she does. You have the commander's permission to enter, then.
Well, well, well. So many visitors. Come to have a good laugh, have you? Or do you mean to put me out of my misery? To finish what you started? It's about bloody time.
That's not why we're here, no. Do you remember what I said? How I promised you you'd live long enough to see us win our freedom? Well, I meant it. And not to mock you either.
You're wasting your time. All of this is pointless! There's no reason to keep me alive, and you know it! I killed your men. I killed my men! And you know what my only regret is? That I didn't kill you when I had the chance!
That's a lie, and you know it! You think we can't tell what you're trying to do? That we're blind? Now, you're a fool, but you're not stupid. You're ruthless. Relentless. You'd give up anything and everything to get what you want. You didn't come this far, climbing over the bodies of your own brothers and sisters just to piss it all away. I see you, Fedora. I see you for what you are.
Now we're getting a glimpse.
Fedora, we mustn't be late. The Imperial Viceroy will be attending today's banquet.
All right! Father, what's Lord Gaius like? Is he nice? Are you friends?
There you go again with all your questions. Lord Gaius is a great and honourable man who looks after all of Alamigo. He's very busy, and if we don't hurry, we'll miss our chance to see him.
Filthy tin-head lovers.
Father, what did that man call us?
The little tin-head lover doesn't know what she is, eh? A traitor, sweetheart. A backstabbing bitch who gladly betray her kith and kin to gnaw on what few scraps the Imperials deign to toss her. Like your bastard father and whore mother.
That's not true! My parents are good people! They've never done anything like that!
Oh, but they were quick to help themselves and their bitch spawn, weren't they? You're just as guilty as them.
Fadola!
Traitors!
Please! You have to do something! My husband and daughter are in danger!
Soldiers of the Imperial Army are under no obligation to intervene in the disputes of arms.
We're citizens! We have rights! Father, I'm scared.
It's all right. It's all right. They don't understand, but they'll see in time. They'll see that this is the only way to survive. Traitors! Traitors!
Let the savages have their fun. They'll be more compliant once they've tired themselves out.
Fadola, please! You already have citizenship. Why would you want to become a soldier? Oh, gods! What have you done to your face?
Forgotten it already, have you? I'm honouring Father's memory.
By telling the world that you know better than a common savage.
Am I though, Mother? Are any of us? Can't you see? Citizenship means nothing to them. If you're not a pure-blood Garlean, you're no different from any other savage. So I'll play the part. I'll join the Legion and I'll make them respect me. And when the mob see that, they'll think twice before throwing their stones. Ansfrid, Rudolph, Emlyn. It's time. It'll be hard. Humiliating. They'll try to break us. Send us crawling back to our own kind. But we won't, no matter what. We'll bleed for them, die for them if we have to. We'll do whatever it takes to be free!
So, you mean to play the part one last time, eh? The unrepentant traitor whose death will serve to unite the people?
Shut up.
You had every chance to kill yourself. Fashion a noose from your clothes, wait for the guards to leave you alone long enough to slip it over your neck.
I said shut up!
Oh, but then it would have all been for nothing, wouldn't it? Whatever it takes. That's what you said.
Been in my head, have you? Had a little peek at my past? And what? A few stolen memories tell you everything you need to know, do they? Don't you dare patronize me! You don't know a god's damned thing about the life I've led! The bastards that killed him. The bastards that let it happen. My father deserved better! I swore I'd do whatever it took to make them pay!
Now she's seeing our past.
You. All that power. All that pain. It's too much. Too much for anyone. The things they've done to you. The lies. The betrayal. The endless fighting. Yet there you stand. Unbroken. How? Why?
For those I've lost, for those I can yet save.
Damn you. Damn you all.
You still have time, Fordola. Think about how you want to spend it. Let's go.
Inventory, we're going to use that real quick. Something to think about at least. And I found something new to think about too. I don't know about you, Kira, but the visions only come to me every now and then. And the way Fordola kept wincing though, I get the feeling she's having them almost all the time. It's a lot of bad memories to deal with. I wonder, could there be some fundamental difference between one who's born with the Echo and one who's been artificially imbued with it? Well, the Immortal Flames have been scouring the research facility ever since the liberation. There's a chance they might have found or might have some answers for us. General Aldean's there, overseeing the investigation. Let's go pay him a visit, shall we? Where'd the fake toy mark go? And you drop it, and I say that. Have that toy. What's the plan? General Aldean's inside. Let's go see him. Oh no, this place looks nice. What news? You spoke with Dordola, I take it? Yes. As expected, she didn't say very much. But it wasn't a total waste of time. Ironveld noticed something odd about her. He thinks she might be having visions almost constantly, which is not how the Echo normally works. Have you found anything here which might explain why it's so different for her? We've been hard-pressed just to organize the research materials, let alone study them. To be frank, I'd welcome the Scion's expert assistance if you have time to lend a hand. All the pods are designed to drain the ether of the occupant, saving not only them, but the others with an array of sensors to measure and give waveforms. To what purpose, however, I couldn't tell you. The device which Grillian was held seems more ominous now for this purpose. Pods on supply subject, while this one bears the master subject. And were to receive a request from the Alliance to utilize these devices, and I've been noting everything of interest. Most of all the pods are designed to treat third parties, save that one there. Array of sensors to measure and waveforms. Experiments. Usually silence from terminate their extraction. Miserable way to die. little and less of science, so any light you could shed on this facility's operations would be much appreciated. Kiara, shall we start with you? With the testimonies of Crowley and Banquet, I do begin to see exactly what the Imperials were attempting here. The enhancement procedure entailed using a single candidate with either siphoned from multitudes of supply subjects. As for the master subject, in this case Creel, the patterns of her etheric activity would prove the model upon which they would artificially engineer the candidate's aura. In other words, they were trying to create Creel's echo? I believe so. Which would explain our prisoner's present state. Creel is possessed of an unrivaled ability to hear the whispers of the soul. Seems probable that the procedure engineered the same acute sensitivity in Fordola. The soldiers who guard Fordola, many of them lost friends and family to the skulls. And there's a sentry at her door day and night. And if she can't help sensing their thoughts and seeing their past, but you don't just see their past, you live it. All the emotions, all the pain. Imagine what it'll do to you. You'll never be the same. It'll do to you. You'll never be the same again. Indeed, as you may recall, Istala was completely transformed by a single glimpse of Rosfelgar's past. Fordola had been forced to experience the agony of those whose lives she destroyed. The guilt must be unbearable. That explains her request to be executed. Sounds to me like a kind of justice. Regardless, you can suffer for now. We have more pressing matters to consider. The results of these experiments have been relayed back to Garlemald. There will be naught to stop the Empire from repeating the trick. They could give the echo to anyone, to an entire legion. We must be ready. We must learn all we can of those god's-forsaken procedures. And Fordola remains our best source of information. She'll not be getting her wish, not yet. Right. Keep faith, lass. If you're to convince others to follow you, you must believe what you're telling them. People will respond to passion, but not if it's feigned. I understand. Thank you, General. We should leave the flames to it. Let's go. Not sure what that was. I go looking for answers about the Echo and end up getting scolded by Raban. Yet more evidence that I don't know what I'm doing. So it's no wonder people listen to him and not me. General Aldine is a veteran of countless campaigns, Lise. You cannot compare yourself to a commander of his experience. I know, but I also know that I couldn't have convinced that mob to give up and go home. It makes me realize how much we rely on his authority, and how much I still have to learn. I wonder what he'll do when everything here's settled. I mean, it's his homeland. And after going through the trouble of winning it back, might he not want to stay? It is a quandary which countless refugees now face. To continue the life they built in Ul'dah, or start again in the land of their birth. Kira, a moment! Marco, what are you doing, buddy? I am newly returned from Ul'dah, and with a missive from the Sultana. Her Grace desires an audience with you. She understands that you have responsibilities here, but asks you that you visit the palace at your earliest convenience. Hey, baby. Well, I must attend to other business. Until next time, my friends. An audience with the Sultana, depending on the nature of her consultation, this might be the perfect opportunity to inquire about the General's future plans. Yes, we'd all like to know about those. Often not, but not everyone's as comfortable interrogating royalty as you. Take notice of him, Kiara. Or take no notice of him, Kiara. Alright, now we go to Ul'dah. Well, the question of how to put the Mad King's treasures to good use shows no sign of answering itself. Shall we be about it, Argo? I'm at your beck and call. And I should be getting back to my own tasks. I'll organize a squad to head down into the ruins, and then start preparing for the big meeting. Oh, and send Anamo my regards, Kira. And ours too. If you please, we shall see you on our return. First, I'm gonna teleport to Gridania. I'm gonna turn in my stuff to the quartermaster for my faction, our Grand Company. That way I can free up some space in my inventory and get some seals. Company seals to go over to the quartermaster. We'll get here. There's glamour prisms, which only are here. Insufficient rank. So when I get captain, I can get those. Okay. Spell speed boost. Let's go with these. Squadron missions. Oh, they have inactive ones. Okay, let's use squad roster. Right, you and you have options here. Bonus skill. No, for that. Experience is better. And Company of Conjurer, MGP. And I have a few Rodigan here, so honestly, and both the healers are conjurers, so attributes. Mission Infinity. Practical mental. Let's go with the Vertigan one. Larger missions. This is Stronghold Assault. No, that's Monster Alert, not that one, not that one. Okay. Gil. We can change you out. We don't have any Arcanists. Crystal Clusters. That might actually be good. Okay. That taken care of, I think that is good for now. I hope you enjoyed today's stream. I hope you drop a follow here on Twitch. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe down below. No matter the site, no matter the time, no matter the place, hit that bell for notifications thrown right in your face. And check out my Discord where you can get a go live notification and vote on things like what game I play next, what kind of character I make, all kinds of stuff that'll add chaos to my streams. You'll also get heads up on things like what I might be doing for that 24-hour stream I'm planning for if I hit 100 followers. I'm not going to say anything more about that here, except that it is on the Discord. So go ahead and check it out. And if you are watching on YouTube and you liked my stuff, make sure to check out my channel here in the middle. If there's too much there and you have no idea where to start and you're in over your head, not a problem. Here on the right's playlist of me playing a different game entirely. It's as good a place to start as any, isn't it, Marco? And if my stuff wasn't for you, but you stuck around anyway, here on the left is a video YouTube thinks you will like. Stay safe, stay happy, stay crazy, and bye!